I watch people constantly complain about what needs to change, what they want to change, and I'm always looking at these people wondering when will that change, okay? There's a lot of times in our lives when we complain about what needs to change, and especially even if we're not complaining to someone else, we're always complaining to ourselves. We're always reminding ourselves what needs to change. But here's what happens. Change doesn't happen because these things happen. Change doesn't happen is because we put it off till later. When we remember change, okay, this needs to change, then we don't actually change it then. We put it off till later. For instance, I've been kind of, I guess I'll say, convicted about the music I'm listening to, knowing this music has cuss words, this music has these things that I don't like, and I know I shouldn't be listening. I know I need to change that, but I'm at work right now. It's fine. I'll give myself excuses. Okay, this doesn't need to change right now. I'll change it later. But why give myself those excuses? What needs to happen is a change needs to be initiated. And change doesn't need to just be initiated. What actually needs to happen is it needs to be initiated in that moment. We don't need to put off change till further. We forget after you say I need to change this. You go home and you realize, okay, this needs done, this needs done. You forget after the day what actually needs to change. Change needs initiated now. And obviously, that's different for certain things. Some things are harder to change. I get it. But the difference is everything can change. And yes, some things take a little bit of time to change. Relationships take time to change, obviously. But nothing will change without being initiated. So the more you say this needs to change, the more I dream about having some fancy car out front. The more people I tell. If I tell people all the time, hey, I'm going to get a fancy car, I say it all the time, it's not going to happen. What's actually going to happen is people are going to think he's crazy. Like, he just keeps dreaming about this car and he hasn't made any move to actually make this car. If I was going to people saying, look, I've made this money, I've saved up this money, I'm already on track to this amount, I'm going to buy this fancy car, I'm going to have it out front in my house. People are seeing the change. That means I'm initiating the change. If I'm going to people saying, oh, I'm going to have a fancy car someday, what is that going to change? I'm not going to have a fancy car by saying I'm going to have a fancy car. I need to actually put the money towards it, put my time, and actually initiate the change now, not later. When I initiate the change later, it's going to be too late. You're going to forget. If I want to go and tell someone I'm going to have a fancy car now, and then I decide, but I don't have enough money right now. I'll do it later. I'll buy a fancy car. I'll put the money towards it later. You're wasting time in your life. You could be putting money towards it now, but why wait till later? I'm only using this example of a fancy car because that's what happens. Same thing with money, with wealth. People do that. Literally, what happens is people say, okay, I want this amount of money at this amount of time. Okay, I'm going to have that money. I'm going to save up for this. And they don't actually have money when the time comes. And the reason being is they don't initiate the change now. They initiate the change when it's too late, when the time's up. So the moral of the story is one thing is initiate the change now, not later. And I wanted to just mention, ask yourself these two questions. What can I change now, not later, now? And will I stay consistent with it? The change isn't ultimately going to matter if you don't stay consistent with it. I'm not saying don't change anything if you can't stay consistent with it. I'm saying change something and stay consistent with it. Don't just ask yourself these questions. And if the answer is no, don't put it off and say, okay, if the answer is no, I'm not going to stick to it. The answer shouldn't be no, I'm not going to. The answer should be if it's a no, how can I turn that into a yes? How can I stay consistent with it? Maybe you need an alarm. Maybe that's what you need, but stay consistent and initiate the change now, not later.